Good morning, you guys. How's it going? Wow, the weather has been nuts lately. Summer has finally hit. It's very, very hot. Yesterday, I think we got up to 32 degrees Celsius. Today, it's supposed to be around the same thing. This weekend, it's supposed to be up to 37. It's just absolutely crazy. Talking about performance today in helicopters, that's a really big thing. I'm going to show you guys the students rolling out the helicopters, getting pre-flighted, getting ready to go for the day here. But performance is a really big thing to talk about because interesting enough, people don't think about this if you're in other industries, if you're in vehicles or whatever else, but temperature makes a massive, massive effect or difference on helicopters. So the hotter it is, the less dense the air is, and therefore the less performance you have. And so helicopters actually perform much, much better in the wintertime when the weather's quite cold than in the summertime when it's super hot like this. We'll talk more about that in just a sec. All right, Lawrence, can you tell me how does hot weather affect performance on a helicopter?
It would affect it in a negative way.
Okay.
The engines work better when it's a little cooler. Like they prefer it when it's cooler.
Excellent, good answer. All right, can you tell me if hot weather or cold weather is better for performance on a helicopter?
Colder weather.
Colder weather?
Yeah.
Ah, why?
Denser air.
Denser air, okay,
Yeah,
so
a little bit
cold
more
air is
performance.
more dense?
Yeah.
Excellent, so a hot day like today, not so good?
We're not going as high, no. A little smoother out there though, but definitely
Yeah.
not going as high.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, thanks.
Good.
Make sure those doors don't fall off, right, Mark?
Absolutely. Not unless it's intentional.
Yep. All right, guys, quick question for you. Could you land at a higher altitude on a hot day or a cold day?
Higher altitude would be better at a cold day.
You got more performance on a cold day, yeah.
Look at these guys. Very good. Thank you. What you got there?
A little bit of fuel.
Excellent.
Just
Why are you
checking.
sampling your fuel?
Whoa! To make sure that we don't have any water or sediment or any debris in it.
Excellent. Good job. Any idea what kind of engine you have in this helicopter?
This is a gas engine, piston engine. It's 4 cylinders is what's in here.
Excellent. Who makes it?
Lycoming.
Oh, excellent. What you checking in your engine there?
The belt, make sure there's no cracks, flares, nothing funny. She's looking good though.
Oh, awesome. Excellent. Do we have a passenger coming for a ride today? Alex, what kind of fuel do you put in this helicopter?
We have 100 low lead avgas.
How does that differ from car gas? Any idea?
Higher octane and a high lead content.
Oh, high lead or a little bit of lead?
Or no, sorry, a low lead.
Low
content.
lead, but it has some lead. Excellent. And how many liters did you put in there?
I put in 70 liters.
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
And how many liters an hour does it burn?
We burn 40 liters per hour.
Ooh, nice. Thank you. What you checking there?
Making sure the finish round's all in good shape. No
All
chips
right.
on the fin, checking the slack.
Good.
Good. Everything's even.
Nice. There's a little bit of play there. Is that supposed to have that?
Yeah, they all
Okay.
have equal amounts of play.
Okay.
And yeah, we just inspect them to make sure that none are looser than the others. And
Strobe light.
Hey, Mark, what's this tail boom made out of?
Carbon fiber. It's a structurally, its structure is in its shape,
Yes, it is.
and it's carbon fiber and light, and it's a cylinder basically, so it has no ribbing or anything. It just goes down and is solid because of what it's made out of and the shape of it.
Perfect. What do you guys figure? If there's a lot of bug guts back there, do you think that's going to reduce your performance?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mark says yes. I'd say that's correct.
Reduce the performance of the bug.
How do you know if your gearbox has any oil in it?
well, there's a little trap door in here.
Okay.
You just drop that down,
Uh-huh.
and you get this nice little flashlight.
Okay.
There's a sight glass in there.
Tough to see, but
It's
okay.
very tough to see. Yeah.
Awesome. And it needs to be what, totally full or where?
Our minimums is just about in there. We aim for about halfway.
Aim for halfway, beautiful. How do you know this door is not going to come flying open if that latch breaks down there?
We have both latches on top and bottom, and then as well there's a hook that it latches onto on the bottom side there, so that's sort of like a redundancy in the cowling.
Cool. All right, so what kind of rotor system do you have on this helicopter?
It's a fully articulated rotor system.
Fully articulated. Why is it fully
articulated.
articulated? What makes it that?
It's actually a pretty cool design. They got these little black bearings, they're elastomeric test bearings.
Okay.
And what they do, it's pretty much a bunch of plates in there.
Yeah.
And they got a really fancy rubber coating.
Yeah.
And it allows the blades, each blade, to feather, flap, and then lead and leg back and forth all through that one bearing, which is actually really unique. And then the maintenance system on it is unbelievable.
Nice. Good work.
Yeah.
Hey Lawrence, what are these rotor blades made out of?
They're fully carbon fiber, actually.
Oh, excellent. That's nice.
Yeah.
Got the mascot today. Okay, let's get back to talking about performance. So in a helicopter, as the temperature gets hotter, the performance goes down. And we can look at a couple charts and we can see how that actually works. Let's take a look here. Okay guys, so if we're looking at the weight and balance, you can see that I've got a configuration set up here of 165 pounds for the pilot, 155 pounds for the passenger. So pretty light people. We got 30 pounds in the main luggage compartment, and we've got 80 liters of fuel, 83 liters of fuel actually. So a fairly light configuration, we're well within our weight and balance. But if we go over to our out of ground effect performance chart, we can see that if I wanted to land, I can kind of slide the mean sea level up and down here. If I wanted to land at an elevation of, let's say, 5,000 feet, I would need to have, I can scroll my temperature around. What I need to have, you see the vertical red line, that's our takeoff weight. I need to have my temperature matching where that vertical takeoff weight is, so right there. So I would need 5 degrees Celsius, temperature-wise, to be able to actually go ahead and take off and land or hover out of ground effect at that 5,000 feet. Now, if I were to move that, let's say, to 3,000 feet, as an example, then I could have a much hotter temperature. You can see I can move that all the way over, and I don't even max out there at 40 degrees. So I'm okay under those conditions. I'm okay up to basically any temperature, up to 40 degrees, if I want to land at, or hover out of ground at 3,000 feet. Of course, if you can lighten up the helicopter, maybe by kicking out one of the passengers, well, that's going to make a huge difference on the whole thing. We need to talk about what density altitude is for just a minute. Density altitude, basically, the easiest way of thinking about what it actually is, because there's pressure altitude and true altitude and indicated altitude, density altitude. The way you want to think about density altitude is it's the altitude that the helicopter feels like it's performing at. So it's based on temperature, and temperature is the biggest factor that actually affects it. It's also based on pressure, but it's not nearly as big of a adjustment that it makes. So depending on if it's a hot or a cold day, it'll dramatically affect what the density altitude is. And so we can look back at our performance chart here, and we can see that again of how, when we slide that temperature, how that makes such a dramatic difference on our density altitude. So you can see I've got my mean sea level set up here at 4,000 feet, and above it we can see the density altitude. So if I go to a standard 15 degrees here, you can see right now it's 4806. So the density altitude is a little bit higher than the standard mean sea level altitude. And then if I scroll that temperature down and I say let's go to minus 10 degrees, you can see that density altitude goes all the way to down to 1,775 feet. So the helicopter actually feels like it's flying at just over 1,700 feet instead of 4,000, which is pretty incredible. But check this out, if I slide that all the way up to a day like today, I have to put my shorts on here because it's so hot. A day like today that's 32 degrees, boom, right there. Now that 4,000 feet actually feels like 6,688 feet, which can really catch you with your pants down, because if you're not being careful, you know, you're coming into a landing spot and your altimeter is telling you that it's 4,000 feet and you're thinking, great, I landed here you know, a couple months ago, it was great, everything worked out, and you forget the fact that a couple months ago it was 10 degrees out, and today it's actually more like 30 degrees out. That landing spot now feels like it's 4,000 feet approximately higher than it was last time. So the helicopter feels like it's landing at a spot that's 4,000 feet higher. That's pretty crazy. That's really, really important. And I want to finish off on that topic because, you know, when the performance is something that's kind of invisible. You know, we think about temperature when you feel hot or you feel cold or whatever, but it's technically invisible because the elevation of that landing spot that you've been to so many times before is actually the same, but the day has changed, so the temperature has changed. The helicopter can perform completely differently. So I just want to finish off on that. It's really important to, you know, do your weight and balance configuration, do your performance calculations, understand how the temperature of the day will quite dramatically affect the helicopter that day as well. I think that's going to really set you up and help you prepare for any landings that you're doing, off airport landings, particularly when you're starting to bring the altitude up, the higher elevations, and you know, obviously the performance is going to be dramatically affected by that. So hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to talk to you guys on the next one. See ya. Okay guys, so if we were looking at this here, let me just, Hudson, I'm filming. I need you to not talk right now, please. Yes, I know. The pilot seat has 165 pounds in it. The passenger seat has 155 pounds. Yeah? We're talking about performance today, Quinny. Mama. Yeah, there's Mama. I know, Mama's in there. Okay guys, so I can kind of slide the mean sea level up and down here. If I wanted to land in feet as a good example here, so we've got 4,000 feet. Hi Quinny. How are you? Mama. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a mean sea level set up here at 4,000 feet. Now you can see right above it, there's the density altitude. It's 4806 right now. But if I go ahead and slide that temperature up or down, check out the dramatic difference that it makes. So if we go down to minus 10. Mama. Yes, Mama's inside. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.